All right, what is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Hopefully, the internet's okay. My internet's been a little bit spotty, so I apologize if it is a little laggy. I have a very, very special guest today, Randy, also known, probably better known as Miss Teen Crypto. And thank you so much for being on the channel. Really grateful to have you.
Thank you for having me, Evan. I know we got to be going around the blockchain, so I'm finally
Yep.
happy that me and you get to chat here and get to know one another and the awesome community that you have too. So hello, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. So how about like I'm sure, I don't know if like how many of my viewers know who you are or who have watched you before. How about you give us a little bit of a background on you? Like how'd you get into crypto? What things are you most into? Are you more of a Bitcoin maximalist, anti-Bitcoin? Or what are your views? Because there's a lot of different things right now. Some people are all altcoins, some people are all Bitcoin. What are your views in history?
Yeah, sure. So I got into crypto when I was 13. Oh, like I heard about it when I was 13 because my dad in
Wow.
2016. So he was telling me about Bitcoin crypto. I really didn't listen to him. Didn't think I could do anything with crypto. I thought it was just finance, adult things, numbers. Until I was 16 is when it really clicked in 2019. We did our first Bitcoin transaction. I saw how easy it was to use. All you have to do is scan a QR code, copy and paste an address, and that's it. You could transact with anyone, anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection. Sometimes not even. Some people in Africa are transacting with Bitcoin without the internet nowadays.
Right.
However, I really saw how that was going to change the way we transact. All I have to do is scan a QR code. Someone scans my phone, I scan a QR code, and that's it. I can just transact on the spot at the store without having to do that whole fiat transaction. Because I know a lot of kids throw their spare change in the garbage, right? Because they just can't use pennies, dimes, and nickels. I then had $200 in my bank account. So when I was growing up, they always said if you keep your money in the bank, the number goes up, you earn interest. But instead, I saw my $200 was always $200, and my purchasing power was starting to go down. So I said, why not just put that $200 in Bitcoin? I'm not doing anything with it. Why
Hmm.
not? Fell down the rabbit hole, and from there, by the time I was 17, it was April 2020, lockdown, bad time for everybody in the world, and I just wanted to be positive, be a part of a community. So I created the Missing Crypto handle, so I was available on Twitter, Instagram, all the other platforms. So I took the handle, started tweeting, creating content, and then by November 2020, I was doing on the street interviews, asking strangers in New York if they knew about Bitcoin and minting NFTs in November 2020 as well, before the NFT boom. So I was really into, crypto NFTs for a long time and not a maximalist by any means. But I know you did ask me about coins that I talk about, or what I'm interested in.
Hmm.
And when I do hand out my cards on the street, I give people this card that you could scan and learn about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So I guess that's what I always tell people about. So I guess it was my top three.
Gotcha. Okay. So Litecoin, that's interesting. I know a lot of people hate
Uh-huh.
Litecoin. What I gotta ask you, what do you think with the happening? When is the Litecoin happening? Do you know it? It's pretty
I
soon,
believe
right?
Litecoin halving is like in August this
Okay,
year, I
yeah.
believe.
So do you think what are your views on it? Do you think we can keep going up with Litecoin? Because Litecoin's been obviously a big underperformer in the last bull run. Do you have any like long-term predictions, long-term things on it? Like what do you
Well,
think?
I would always when in doubt zoom out on the charts,
Hmm.
whether that's Bitcoin, Litecoin, ETH, you could see where it's going in the future. And Litecoin has actually been kind of during this run up, especially, and I think it was kind of like that of in 2020 when I came in. Litecoin actually started pumping, and then Bitcoin kind of followed, and Ethereum followed, which is just a pattern I'm noticing. I'm not saying it's an
Mm.
indicator for the market or anything, but it is something I've noticed. And even over the weekend, Litecoin started to pump a little bit, then Bitcoin went up, right? But I do think Litecoin's really cool. I look at the fundamentals of the project
Mm.
versus the pumpamentals of a project. So I see 84 million Litecoin and finite supply. We have, it's cheap, fast, easy to use. When I think about Gen Z, the future of money, we don't want to wait for something like Bitcoin to take 20 minutes to confirm if we're at a coffee shop. We want something like Litecoin, where you spend $5, it's less than a cent or less than a cent, essentially for a transaction. It's fast again. You could transact at a coffee shop and leave from there. So the
Mm.
fundamentals are there. Of course, OmniLite as well, NFTs on Litecoin, and then Mimblewimble, which I think is going to have a big it's going to play a big role in adoption in general, being that it's a part of sound money. We know, for people that don't know, when you use Bitcoin and Litecoin regularly, you're able to see all the transactions you've done in the past. Like if me and Evan transact right now, we can see
Mm.
how many transactions we've done in the past, who, when, where. We could see how much we have in our wallet, which I guess that's a great thing. We love transparency. However, when you're doing a traditional transaction with your debit card, they don't know how the past transactions you've done in the past, the merchant you're spending with. They don't know your bank account balance, then why should they? So that's what MWeb solves. So it's something that you could opt into or opt out to. It's not something that's mandatory for Litecoin, but I do think it's something essential for sound money.
Right. Cool. Cool. So, what are your like main? Do you look at charts a lot? Are you mainly more fundamentals, more charts? I know there's some people who, say TAs, just like hieroglyphics. Other people are kind of in between. What do you look at the most above all? It seems like fundamentals probably a little bit more than TA, right?
Yeah, I've always been about the fundamentals. I'm now recently like looking into charts. Like I've been looking at charts for a while, but a lot of it was like just looking like again like a different language, right? But I do understand that it's something you have to take the time out, you have to learn. So I have been, looking at charts a lot more than I used to. So I'm trying to learn. I'm in the process of learning, but I've always been like more of the fundamental side as well, because again, like that's why we're here. It's the fundamentals of being your own bank and everything like that.
Right. I gotta ask you? I mean, obviously, unless you've been living under anyone unless who hasn't been paying attention to it knows that 25K, the area we are at right now is such a huge area. What is your best guess here? Like, are we able to pump up above 25K in March and April, or is this going to be just a bear market rally? I know it's a tough question, but what's your best guess here?
Honestly, I'm always bullish, so I'll stick on that side for now. To me,
Mm-hmm.
the short term, it's all something we're not even going to remember, these little price movements. I'm picturing 10, 15 years down the line, people are just going to be happy that they have Bitcoin, money that belongs to them. So I'm always on the bullish side anyway. I do see a ton of institutional money coming into crypto, a lot more liquidity coming into the game, a lot more people investing, a lot more banks getting involved, and technologies being built. So I do, and with adoption this year, I think is great. I think this year in general is going to be a great year for crypto. So I'm going to say I'm always on the bullish side.
Mm. What are your I mean, a lot of people compare it to kind of the big thing a lot of people are talking about, dot-com bubble. A lot of people compare it to that. And, we know how long it kind of took for the dot-com bubble to come back. Difference with now and then is we print, a hell of a lot more money now. Do you think, I mean, obviously people will talk about the Peter Schiffs of the world, how gold and silver outperformed the NASDAQ from 2001 to 2011. Do you think we could have a possibility where it's a more boring next 5 to 10 years, but then we see the real crazy decade 2030, 2040? Or do you think it's going to be faster? Hopefully a lot of people are hoping faster, but sometimes we don't get what we want.
I'll say faster because
Yeah.
this space is the most fast developing space, like the quickest moving space ever. And this is we've had industrial revolutions and a lot of different revolutions over our time. This is the real digital revolution. The digital revolution kind of started with the internet and the dot-coms, but this is the real nitty-gritties right here. Using the internet, using the blockchain in a way for governance, for money, for holding and transacting value. And, there's that's cause for ultimate permeable action. You know what I mean? I do strongly believe in this space, and I yeah, strongly believe in this space. I do think that again, Bitcoin, it's gonna defy the odds. I think overall, even when you're talking about price action, Bitcoin kind of does what it wants when it wants. During the last bull market, Bitcoin was going up to 60K. People were losing their minds. They were like, we're going to 100K, laser eyes, and then we took a dip. And then during this past dip, around 15, 16K, everyone was saying we're going to 10, and we're not going to see upside in Bitcoin for years. And then we recovered from FTX fully, from that dip from FTX. So, it just makes you wonder.
Yeah. I'm going to move my mic over a little bit, so I think it's not coming up into Zoom as well. I had this issue once before, but if I move it over, it'll be fine to hear you. But that's just the chat, so that should be good. Yeah. The thing I wanted to show you kind of on the charts right here, and this is kind of more, I know you had Crypto Savvy on the other day, so more kind of bearish type stuff, but what do you think you're kind of familiar with MarketSite for a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so you're starting to get used to it. So here's kind of the main thing that worries me a little bit and kind of worries, kind of right here and right here where I'm comparing. So this is obviously a bearish div, split RSI kind of coming down. And then last time, that was the Black Swan event. That was COVID. That's down 60 right there. And then there are a lot of, that's kind of the first time we've really seen that, the split RSI is coming down other than this time right here. My main guess is that you still, I know the bulls hate this, but you still might be able to make a lower low into middle to late this year. And I think that's going to be kind of the main place to get in, especially for those big gains with altcoins. Other than DCAing and like, what's your view on altcoins? How about like altcoins? Like, should you stick more with Bitcoin? Like, what's your view on altcoins right now?
Well, I always tell people look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
I think there could be like, a lot of adoption in terms of those assets, and I think with adoption comes price action. So I always tell people look at those two assets, because just to stay safe, have the fundamentals in
Right.
the space, compare and contrast what are they for, how does Bitcoin and Litecoin compare, Bitcoin needs, what are their use cases, and all that. We do know, Bitcoin, of course, is going to be embraced either way, and then Litecoin is another one that's right behind it, proof of work,
Mm-hmm.
holds all the same concepts, fair launch and things like that. So that's a good sign in terms of like all the crazy regulation happening right now. And then Ethereum is loved by the World Economic Forum. They went proof of stake, so it's something to consider as well. So I do think Litecoin and Ethereum are the alts that I would look at.
Nice, nice. Like, so do you have any, like, what do you look at? Like, when you, like, tell me what a day looks like for you, like, when you're looking at, like, kind of your strategies or, like, DCAing in, or, like, what do you look at every day? Like, is it more news? Like, what are some really good sources you look at?
Sources. I try to look at the chart to see like volume, to see like
Okay.
kind of like sentiment, like what are people doing? Are people buying? Are they selling? Of course, I look through crypto Twitter because that just tells you everything, like people's raw emotions. I listen to Twitter Spaces because that's a nice consensus of where people are at. I like to Google everything. I do daily, like every single day, especially because I have the Daily Zest, my daily news show. I'm always keeping up with the news, so that's definitely like I look at CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, Blockworks, Decrypt, a whole bunch of really good sites for that. And of course, the mainstream media, you got to take a look at what they're doing as well if you're in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at other YouTubers as well, like you and a lot of other people that look at charts and maybe things that I'm maybe lacking in my expertise, I guess, and things that I'm not sure of. I of course look for other answers from other people and just compare and contrast and absorb all the information and kind of extract what I could. So yeah, watch videos, Twitter Spaces, look up news, all of that, and of course I'm learning the chart. So I try to like take the information that I can from there.
Okay, I got a question. So, let's say I have 10 grand. I want to invest in crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything. It doesn't really, so just something crypto. I want to invest that. What's the best strategy? Like, what's the timeline I should put that money in if I'm DCAing? Like, how much should I put in every month? Rough estimate. What do you think? Like, should it be a 1 year period I should put that money in over, a 6 month period? What do you think? What would you do?
Well, I'm more of a long-term person, so a
Okay.
lot of people are saying like, oh, if you dollar cost average the last X amount of time, you're down like a few percent. Like for me, it's more you're building up and accumulating no matter what the market's at over an extended amount of time, however you feel it fits for you. And 4, 5, 10 years down the line, that's what I'm kind of looking at. Instead of like the short term, like dollar cost average over 6 months or a year, where does that really get you? I feel like in crypto you have to be in it for the long run, and spend time in the market. Besides timing the market.
Right, right. Yeah, it's like, what do you, I mean, we're kind of in like on a lot of, in kind of what I like to call kind of as more of a bear who's been a little bit wrong, the past few months kind of. And what I like to say is we're kind of like in the anger phase a little bit because everybody who didn't buy at like 15K was a little too afraid. They're like angry because it pumped up here. And then the last phase that I have on a lot of those psychology charts is the depression phase. And that's if you come lower, that's where you want to buy in the depression phase. So what do you think of that? Find it kind of funny? Like,
yeah, I think, I think it's like we're at a really weird point. Because even when we were running up, right, we were recovering from FTX, it was like we were struggling with 20K. It was like we were just getting to 20K, then we slipped. Then we got over 20K, we were sideways, we slipped. Then it was the same thing with 23K or 24K. We couldn't hit 24 for our lives or hold it. We had some wins there, but we couldn't hold 24K. Finally, we got above that. We touched 25 too. Then that was another point where we seen that there was some resistance there that we fell under. So it's like it's a lot of making moves, consolidating, then making another move, then consolidating. So I don't know if that's a bullish or bearish type thing.
Right.
Because it kind of reminds me of, before the real run in 2020 and 2021, where Bitcoin was kind of doing the same thing. Kind of went to 10K, tinkered around there, went up into the teens. I forgot what exact number, but it was tinkering around. And then it went through 20s and then blew through 20s, 30s, 40s, and then it was a full-on bull run from there. So it kind of gives me that type of vibe. But again, I'm new to the charts, I'm new to all of this, so I'm probably crazy, like what do I know? But that's just how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we obviously don't know. You know, how much longer the Fed is going to keep raising rates. We don't know what regulation is going to bring. Everybody has a little bit of a different, prediction on what the Fed's going to do and what regulation's going to bring. What do you think out of those two things? Any predictions? Any insight there?
Of course, we're going to hear some salt from like the federal level of regulation. I feel like at that point, because they just don't know what to do yet, and there's CBDCs in the works, there's a bunch of things that are going on right now. I think there's just a massive amount of confusion and just not enough conviction from their side as to what to do. Because again, this is a new technology. And especially because a lot of, I hate to say it, but a lot of the people that are making these laws, they're not even using email, right? Like, are they sending their own emails? Do they post on social media? Are they, they're not really using tech in general, so how could you say Bitcoin is bad? It's like Charlie Munger, he's 99 years old, and he's saying Bitcoin is bad. Like, how could you really take that word for word, right? I guess, and even we're starting to see a lot of bullish momentum on the state level, right? We're seeing a bunch of states like Wyoming, they're making moves with crypto. Montana was making moves protecting crypto miners. Texas wants to invest in Bitcoin. Arizona wants to make Bitcoin legal tender, crypto taxes on property. So we have so many people that are for crypto that are working to push adoption in a bunch of other states. So I think it's going to be like this cumulative effect of a bunch of people backing crypto states, backing crypto, that it's just going to rise to the federal level and they're going to have to give it. But that's just like how I feel about the situation. Yeah. I do think, like I said, I'm bullish. This is a space that you can't stop. At the end of the day, this is all code. You can't stop code.
Right. Yeah. What's funny is, like, in the chat, it's just crazy because there are people with such opposing positions. Like, one person just said, like, today's your day, just said, this is the biggest bear trap he's ever seen. Bears are so excited with this little resistance, yada, yada. And then we have somebody else saying, I see a 50% correction starting now. Like, it's just so, the longer you're in the space, you know what I mean? Just a complete like, opposite directions of, like, predictions.
Yeah, you never know. Listen, I'm always bullish no matter what. So the short term doesn't really bother me. But listen, they could be right. There could be a 50% correction. There could be a lower low. Like, nobody really knows, right? You just have to have a bullish and a bearish case scenario. If it goes down to a lower low, this is my plan. If it goes up from here, did I miss my shot? Did I say, hey, I wanted to buy more Bitcoin and I made myself miss it, right? Like, have a plan either way.
Yeah, it's more about having a plan, I would say. I mean, my main thing, let me see if you agree with this. You could see my chart. So my main thing here, and this is kind of my kind of strategy to at least hold off on getting into altcoins until this happens. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart on the monthly here. And this looks about as bullish as possible right here with the bullish div coming up. And I think you could get up to, it's at 43% right now. I think you could get up to at least high 40s into 50 in the next 6 to 12 months. And I think that's going to be similar to buying altcoins kind of up here, like in mid 2020, these areas. That's what I'm looking to get into altcoins for the next rally up. Until then, mainly Bitcoin, because things tend to keep leading against Bitcoin, especially ETH Bitcoin right here. Let me show everybody this. Look at what we're looking at the weekly. This is, if you're not familiar with, Blood Diamond on the weekly right here. This is confirming Ethereum. This is what I'm thinking is going to happen on ETH Bitcoin. I don't know if you're going to crash 50% against Bitcoin, but you could easily come down, another 30 back to this area, 30 or more. I mean, it could in bad circumstances. That's where we go into a real, depression phase recession, again, we don't know how Bitcoin's going to work in recession. Maybe it works kind of like gold where it comes up in a recession. Maybe it doesn't. That's kind of the questions we don't know. But that's kind of my 2 cents on kind of getting in right now. If you're going to be getting in Bitcoin, and wait till that Bitcoin dominance kind of rises up, and then look into the altcoins in 6 to 12 months kind of. But yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I mean, considering like the downturn, like of like the Bitcoin dominance, like maybe, like it just makes me think, does it need to go to that high of a level for alts to really pop off too? Like just because we went down a little bit and like if maybe it goes halfway, like exactly, like we just don't know. That's why you have to have a case, a bullish bearish case scenario either way, and like make sure you're okay and your bags are where you want them to be in whatever direction it goes. But it's really interesting to see BTC dominance versus everything else, because even what you were showing me, like the Bitcoin dominance around like February 2020, I think that's really interesting, because I remember before February 2020, when it was around the summer, I think around that time, if I'm remembering correctly, is when Uniswap was really popping off, and all these grocery store tokens were really popping off, and I feel like that was kind of the start of the bull market, because the sector just popped off and just moved. And granted, a lot of them didn't stick around. We kind of expected that. A lot of them were sheesh coins. But like the basics of DeFi were sustained from that trend. So I thought that was really cool. And it was before Bitcoin dominance really kind of took that uptrend of when the rest of the altcoins popped off. So that makes me think as well. Even NFTs popping off around that time, a little later than February 2020.
NFTs are, NFTs are interesting. Do you have, I know you mentioned NFTs earlier. Are there any NFT projects you like a lot? Anything you have? Like, what do you think about NFTs?
I love NFTs, man. Yeah. I love NFTs. There's a lot of like beef in the community right now over like royalties and stuff like that. So I would stick with marketplaces that are going to give you your royalties, because I feel like that's like the premise. Or one of the really great benefits of NFTs is empowering creators, and even without or the lower royalties, I think it's still amazing to again be Bitcoin cryptocurrency. It gives you the opportunity to be your own thing. NFTs give you the opportunity to be your own store, be your own art gallery, be your own record label, and sell to your community directly, or bridge that gap between creators and their community without the intermediaries. I think that's extremely important. So even when I started my NFT collection in November 2020, it was more of a collection and not a project, because I just wanted to put out art to kind of track my life. Like I did my 18th, 19th, 20th birthday as NFTs, and people instead are able to support me through that, instead of giving me $1 super chat on YouTube. They can buy a $1 NFT, and that way it's something that they could keep, collect, trade with a friend, or sell it, do whatever they want with it. Really, so it's something different, a different way to support it. And of course, the be your own gallery and everything is something I want to show kids my age, because even in high school, I had a class there was like an art class where kids could take to do digital art and learn how to draw on your iPads. But why wouldn't you teach kids how to make their own NFT collection at that point? You're teaching them digital art. Just teach them the other half at that point. I did try to have that implemented. I did not succeed at that point.
That's
hopefully
cool.
In the future.
Where do you what are you on the Ethereum network with your NFTs? Where do you are they on OpenSea? Where could I find them?
My main collection. So if you want to check out my NFTs, missteennfts.com or missteencrypto.com/NFTs. So basically those were on Wax blockchain starting in November 2020, but my most recent NFT that I dropped, it was my 20th birthday NFT from 11 days ago, and that was on OpenSea. So I did a one-of-one auction on OpenSea because I wanted to get spicy, but the rest of my NFTs are on Wax.
I think we have the same birthday. I was born on February 16th too.
Yes! Yeah. Oh, so happy birthday to you too.
Yeah, thanks. Happy birthday. I'm 26 now.
Oh, wow. I'm 20 now, so we're not that far apart.
Well, that's cool. You just never went to college, just went into crypto. It's awesome.
Yeah, I started this when I was a junior in high school.
Wow.
And people thought I was crazy. The first ever video I did with a friend, you probably hear people laughing at me in the background because they thought I was crazy. And then teachers came up to me, they thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme, they wanted me to delete my Twitter. It was like a whole thing. And then I ended up going back to my school last year, less than a year after graduating. And I went back to teach them 2 investing classes about Bitcoin. So it ended up turning around a little bit.
Yeah, I remember, I was into it back in 2015, 2016, but I was too young. I was only 18 at the time. I was in college. I didn't have enough money to put much into it. And then I think the thing that deterred me away from it was all the illegal activities people were doing with it. Because I remember when I was in college, how I heard about it was people were using it to buy fake IDs, not drugs, but well, no one I knew was using it for drugs, but they were buying fake IDs with it. That's how I found out about it. And I was just like, what's that? What's that?
I saw someone do that when I was in high school too.
Yeah, they were buying fake IDs. And like I was just thinking to myself, like these are all criminals. Are they the ones who are gonna win? But it kind of works. Like obviously, we know like 1% of Bitcoin transactions is used for illegal things. That's the main thing Charlie Munger kind of talks about. Like, oh, it's used for this, but I mean, everything's used for illegal activities. Telephones, U.S. dollar. It's not. Every new technology that comes out is going to be used for illegal things. That's not a good argument right there. But it kind of deterred me away in the beginning because of that. But I wish I kept more back then, because I remember I was messing around with it and it would be like, oh, you just sent 5 Bitcoin when it was at $200. I'm like, oh my God. Like I was 18 years old sending that amount, 5 Bitcoin.
Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't keep too much of it into the last bull run, but I got really into it. Like I put almost everything I had and then some into it in mid to late 2020, which worked out really, really well. But so then, luckily I was kind of smart enough to gradually get out during, the big parts of the bull run. So it's been a nice ride with that. That's what I will say.
Wow. Educated.
Yeah. I knew the 4-year cycle. I just knew the 4-year cycle, so I figured give it a shot with all the money being printed. And like there was a YouTube channel that I watched for a while, and he was like, it was an anonymous guy who was like putting everything he had into Bitcoin, like 80% of his net worth. So I was just like, we're going down together.
That's bold. That's bold. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I didn't have like I was like 23 years old, and that was about 3 years ago. Yeah, so I was like 23 years old at the time. I didn't have a real lot of money, but it was fun. Like it was a lot of adrenaline, because I used to I would just do anything. Like I would pay my rent with credit cards, just do anything to try to like get more money into it was very risky, but it worked out luckily.
At least you're young and you can like take those risks, and you just didn't intend to do just going out there. That's what a lot of really successful people have said, even on my show, that they did these really risky moves that could have been really bad but ended up being good. So they did the right thing from there.
Yeah, it's more about the more I get older and the more I realize it's more it's kind of, this is a lot of people, it's kind of more like law of attraction. Like even Crypto Face has talked about this. Like it's kind of like if you're a miserable person, you always think everything's geared against you, and you're never going to be ever able to win. Everything's a scam. That's what's going to happen to you. It's if you feel like you're a wealthy person, if you act like you're a wealthy person. That doesn't mean be an entitled douchebag, but I mean, if you feel, that doesn't mean be an asshole. But I mean, if you feel, kind of feel these type of things and have a positive outlook, most likely more positive things are going to kind of come to you. Because I always hear the same thing, from people every day, I can't do it because of A, B, Z, and it's just always some dumb excuse. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you 100%.
Yeah, I was doing an ice bath the other day with an instructor, and I was in the ice, freezing cold, and I'm in the ice bath, and my arms were outside of it. I was like, I can't. I was like, Javier, I can't put my arms in. I was like, I'm just not ready yet. And he's like, you really can't, or is that just some bullshit excuse? And I thought more, and I'm like, yeah, it's really an excuse that I put my arms in.
Oh damn, Javier humbled you.
Yeah, he humbled me. Yeah.
Oh my God, you got wrecked.
Yeah, I got wrecked. I'm like, next time I'll do it. He's like, is it really that you can't do it, or is that just some BS excuse?
No, it's all mental.
Yeah, it's all mental.
Wow, ice baths are intense though.
It is, yeah. It's kind of you go work your way. You could kind of work your way up to it. I've been into it kind of on and off. This was my first time doing it in many months. I did my hands in ice on the live stream the other day, which was not fun. That was just kind of painful on the live stream and everyone watching that. And I did a poll, should I put my hands in the ice? And then they're all 90% say yes. And then when I'm having them in the ice, they're all voting no, no, we want CTA, we don't want to watch this crap.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, ice baths are really good for you though, I heard.
They
Like,
are,
really
yeah.
consistently.
Yeah, it is. You build your way up to it, but yeah, it is really good. It's a lot of like mental, really good benefits to it. But yeah. So, what's like, if you could go back, yeah, I have a good question. If you could go back to like when you started on this, are there any things that you wish you did differently? Any things you were really happy that you did? Like, if you could do it again, kind of on your crypto journey, what are some things that come to mind that you wish you did differently, maybe?
I don't know if I would wish I did anything different. I probably wish that like I could have had more fiat to put into Bitcoin and crypto at the beginning, because like when I created my Twitter account, Bitcoin was $7,700, man. Like, and it kept slipping away from me, trying to get this whole Bitcoin. So one thing I wish I had was more fiat. But again, like, I was working. I was like, doing stuff in school that I was profiting from, and then I was also a dental assistant for a few years. So I was for like 2 years. So I was working. I was doing my best. So I couldn't say like I didn't try hard enough. But definitely, I don't think I made any investing mistakes being in crypto, because my dad has been in crypto for a long time, and I'm kind of more conservative, where I try not to do all like these crazy degen things, and just try to like get my bag and like set my goals and move all my crypto to a hardware wallet, like not trusting third-party platforms and not staking my crypto anywhere right now, especially on a centralized exchange.
Right.
Because I'd rather know that I have my crypto sitting in my wallet and it's okay and it's sitting there, rather than just playing around and worrying about it. So definitely, like, how I've done it so far, I don't think I would change. I'm happy I didn't give into all these degen things where I'm like crazily swapping on Uniswap and all these things, trying to like, make a quick like 50x. Like, I'm happy I didn't do that, because honestly I would have gotten wrecked and I wouldn't have anything. So just stick to like your plan, dollar cost average if you can, and stick to it. I'm happy I did that.
Yeah. Just curious, what hardware wallet do you use? What do you recommend? What's out of?
I always so there's always like really good ones. Of course, Ledger, Trezor.
Yeah.
I think Cool Wallet is pretty dope. Like, I enjoy it. I think it's pretty cool. It's like a little card-looking thing. You plug it in. It's really dope. I really like it. And then there's like DeFi stuff you could do on there too if you look into that. Then Arculus, I heard, is really good. I played around with that. And then Ballet Wallet, I think, is pretty good for a newbie. I think I have one right here. I'm like such a crypto person.
You have a lot of wallets. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just thinking, like, if I had that many wallets, I would completely forget about them.
Yeah, like I just have a bunch of them sitting in my house too. Like a lot of them are like unopened, because like I go to conferences. Some people gift me stuff sometimes, like gratefully. But yeah, this is a Ballet Wallet. And basically, all you have to do is like scan this QR code, get set up. You download the app. There's no private key set up. Like, for example, this is like a Bitcoin wallet. If you're gifting this to a friend, you just open this tab. You can send Bitcoin directly to the wallet, and then the private key is under this sticker. So if you're, this is like completely offline, right? So like if you wanted to send crypto to it, and you're just like putting it away in a safe somewhere, then I feel like this is pretty cool for that. Or if you're gifting crypto to somebody new, they don't want to go into like the whole private key thing, then this is another really cool way to get started. I even have custom business cards as well, like with 0.001 Bitcoin, like 10,000 Satoshis I put on here.
Oh, wow. So it's like individual wallets and the private keys are on the back or something? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like this is the address on the back, and then like this is the front. It's pretty dope. But that's also from Ballet.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a really...
You can do custom Bitcoin and Litecoin, I think, on these. You just have to like set the amount, like when you're requesting to have a meeting and stuff.
Yeah. I've used, I'm like an old school, like I have just a basic Trezor wallet that I bought back in like 2020. I think the first generation Trezor wallet, and it's just like so simple. And for staking right now, the only place, I stake some stuff like on the Exodus wallet, like decentralized staking.
Oh, Exodus is good.
Yeah.
For a hot wallet, yeah.
Yeah, and then, well, it's technically like, you could link it up with your Trezor or your Ledger, so I think it's technically a cold wallet if you do it that way.
It's a warm. It's a warm.
Warm, it's in between. But you get what I'm saying, like they can't, I don't think anybody could take your, you know what I mean? Even if someone had remote access to your PC or your Mac, they wouldn't be able to, because you have to hit the OK on your Trezor for it to be able to send out of there.
Exactly.
So you can link up. That's what I do. I stake some The only thing I'm staking right now, and I mean, I like the project, but it's not like something I'm really like 100% think it's going to go to the moon. Like Atom is one that I'm staking right now on there. Because like,
They're good staking pools for that.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking about selling it and trying to like wait and get in like towards the end of this year or whatever. But ultimately, you know, I think 20%, I'm kind of being happy with that compound interest right there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. I've seen like really, I don't know. I know there was like sometimes on Trust Wallet I see stuff like that. I think there was an ad one. I'll look later, but definitely like I've seen a bunch. On a few different wallet apps you'll be able to stake. So always be careful. Do your own research for our friends in the audience.
Now I got a tough question. What are your maybe list like 5 altcoins other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin that, you know, not something you think is automatically going to go up. We know it's very speculative, very risky, but 5 you just like the fundamentals of. Something you just like the fundamentals on 5 of them.
All right.
Or at least 3. At least 3.
Okay, I'll give you 2 because I feel like I get hate from communities if I pick something. Whenever I do that, I get so much heat. So for something I would say I like the fundamentals of is DigiByte. I think DigiByte's pretty dope.
Oh, okay.
Like I was talking about before, you know, when I think of Gen Z, when I think of money, something we want to spend, DigiByte's faster and cheaper than Litecoin. Really, really insane. Like once you hit that send button, you received it. So. And it's also proof of work, and a lot of cool fundamentals there. And I like the Digi people. I've been talking about DigiByte since I got it on Twitter. So I would definitely look at DigiByte in terms of the fundamentals. And then I think if you guys believe in Elon Musk, if you believe in what he's doing, then Doge.
Oh boy.
I think, you know, a lot of people hated on Doge, but I think Doge brought a lot of adoption, especially amongst Gen Z. When I was still in high school, that was when Elon was initially tweeting about Bitcoin, about Doge, and it brought a lot of people into the space, especially Gen Z. Not necessarily, you know, because people were investing in Doge, but for the meme. And a lot of people were like, oh, what's Doge? What is this thing for? And then what's Bitcoin? How does it compare? And what's Ethereum? How does it compare? How do you use all these things? And Doge is also merged with Litecoin, so if you mine Litecoin, you get Doge as a reward. If you mine Doge, you get Litecoin as a reward. So I think that's also pretty dope. So those 2 are ones that I do watch out for.
Can you go into, I'm curious about, I don't know really anything about mining. You were talking about mining Dogecoin. How do you do that?
Honestly, I'm not that big into mining. Okay. I couldn't give you like that type of information. I wish I could, but I definitely, that's what I do know for sure, is Doge and Litecoin are merged mine, because I remember there was like some sort of problem, and Charlie Lee was actually on my show, I think it was like September.
Oh wow, you're Charlie Lee?
Yeah, I had him on the show like 3 times, nice. And I also did the 10-year Litecoin anniversary interview with him for LA Blockchain Summit. So he explained this like really well on my show. I think I also put it up as a clip on my channel, how Doge and Litecoin are merged mine, and he went into all of that. So that's a better clip to explain that than me. But I wish I knew more. I wish I could give you more information on that. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's it's interesting with like, that's funny because like I remember when the craze with mining Dogecoin, it was like there was a big craze with that back in like 2015 or something, and all these people that mined it, like most of them lost their private keys or whatever and never like made the money or whatever. I know that YouTuber, that Martini guy, he did that and like lost the private keys or lost the laptop.
No.
There was another guy.
Man.
Yeah, there was a guy I knew that I used to work out with at Zoo Culture when I lived in LA. That's like this really popular like gym that all these social media like fitness YouTubers work out at. There's a guy that used to wear like this Dogecoin like sweatshirt every day, and I'm like, hey man, you must own Dogecoin, you must be into it. He's like, I don't want to talk about it, man. Like, or no, he wanted to talk about it, but he was just like, yeah, like I used to mine it like 5 years ago, it'd be worth millions, but I lost all the keys.
Oh no, poor guy. My God.
And he's just like, yeah, I was on the baseball. He's like, I was in the Dogecoin baseball team. I was like, there's a Dogecoin baseball team only in LA.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know that was a thing.
And it was like a while ago too. It was when Dogecoin first spread. Like, when did Dogecoin come out? 2015, I think, or 2013.
I want to say 2014. Dogecoin launch.
Something like that. Yeah, that was the first like kind of crypto craze. Like,
I was close. I thought it was the beginning of 2014. It was December 6, 2013. That is when it was officially launched.
Yeah, somebody said in the chat they used to mine Doge just on browsers. I remember there was this other way I forget what you could mine this way, but you could mine something in 2017 by shaking your iPhone.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know. It was probably some altcoin that went to zero by now. But I knew somebody who was like doing it. I'm just like, you're shaking that. I'm like, that's how you know that the top is in and we're headed for a bear market when someone's shaking their phone to try to mine something.
That's so funny, dude. I love
Yeah.
that. The crypto community will do anything.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, let me ask the chat if you guys have any questions in the last couple minutes here for Randy, or better known as Miss Team Crypto. Appreciate that. We got a few people in. Let's see what people are saying. You guys are the best. From Honda Man, shout out to Honda Man. Thank you so much. Today's your day asks, what do I think is crypto as an idea? I think it's a great idea, kind of what we were talking about. Somebody asked me if I'm bearish. Yeah, to kind of be the bringer of bad news. I mean, the technical charts are not always right, but from what I'm looking at, I mean, I got a technical target on Doge at oh boy, let's see what this is. This is gonna be at around 2 cents, but it may not go there. There's a lot of hope at 5 cents. But Bitcoin, there's a lot of concern. I mean, the last thing that I've been talking about a lot is similarities between here and kind of the dot-com bubble. There is a lot of concern on some of the higher time frames. The split RSIs coming apart here. Bearish diff coming down. I mean, we don't know how that's going to react. We've never really seen something like this on the 4-day time frame. We also have the 3-week coming very close to the... For someone who's not into TA, this probably just sounds like nonsense, but we never really had money flow come this close into the red. So I don't know. I feel like we kind of have to test at least kind of 17s again here, or possibly come down to lower areas. I've drawn out my worst case scenario area at 9,300. What was Crypto Savvy's worst case scenario? Was what, 3K, 4K?
It was like 3,500 or something.
Oh.
It was something like really crazy. If you guys go back to that show, me and Savvy were on I think it was Friday or Thursday last week, and that was a good show. Oh, it was Thursday because I went somewhere else on Friday. I remember it was Thursday, and it was really spicy. And he has all of it drawn out on his charts, and he explained it really well, his theory. But he did say he would be invalidated if Bitcoin broke through 25.8, I believe. Yeah,
that's a 50 weekly moving average, which is a big area. That's what I kind of think. I don't think we're going to 3 or 4K. That would be insane. That's like dead ass a category. If Bitcoin's going to 4K, I think it's over. We got worse things to worry about. But I think we could go to 10K possibly. I think 9,300, like 9K, 10K, kind of worst case scenario. I think if you're bouncing around under 10K, I think we're kind of over. Somebody said they gotta walk to get tokens.
Yeah, because that was a big thing before, the bear market really set in. It was like step-in was a big thing, and all these move to earn platforms where you were just like walking, like you would get a pair of shoes as an NFT, then walk with the shoes, and then you would earn based on that, and then you had to fix your shoes to keep walking and whatever. But I think that concept is actually really genius. Because us getting awarded for getting off our butts and stop staring at charts like crazy people. We should be and attention is starting to be rewarded as well with watch to earn, and even on a lot of Web3 platforms, you'll earn tokens or whatever based on you watching. So I think that's pretty cool. I definitely, and even it doesn't Brave browser, they do something similar. Like more you use Brave, you earn stuff on that.
Yeah, I used to use it. You could earn basic attention token, or you used to be able to. I don't know if you still can, but
yes. Yeah, so I think that's all genius, and I think of course we're still really early, but I do think a lot of that stuff is going to exist. I'm surprised Peloton didn't do something like that, where you earn Peloton token for achieving a certain goal, or doing a certain amount of rides with your friends and things like that, and getting NFT achievements. I 100% telling you that's happening. Clip it, post it. Happening at one point or another. Please someone take this idea and use it. I highly encourage it. But that move to earn is going to be definitely something that's going to be a thing. And rewarding attention is the biggest thing that's going to happen. Probably one of the big catalysts for the next bull run, gaming and rewarding attention, which kind of GameFi does, but yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of think the last thing I want to kind of ask you here is What tips do you have for like? I mean, you blew up pretty quickly in terms of like the following. What social media platforms like for somebody getting to crypto, being a crypto influencer? One, like what social media platforms are the best to be on, and two, like what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to build a following in the space?
I mean, man, like I've been in this space for almost 3 years now doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't change
Yeah.
it for the world, but just know it is nothing less than a complete grind. I have been tweeting every single day for 3 years. I've been posting
Wow.
videos every single day on most platforms for over a year now because I just wanted to really get consistent. And I started realizing like I want to make sure I'm everywhere, right? So get on every platform. Don't be afraid to freaking post. Like I was like, bullied in high school. I didn't think anyone would like me, and then I got on crypto Twitter and I just started being myself, and I found people that will support me. So of course there's always a group of people for you, your vibe attracts your tribe, all that stuff. So keep posting everywhere, post your tweets. Don't be afraid to put out content. We're so early that anybody can come into this space and put out content and really become somebody because we need education. We need positive minds. We need smart minds. So if you feel like you could do anything in this space, then do it. Jump on Twitter Spaces, especially. I feel like because Clubhouse isn't as popping as it used to be, but I made a lot of friendships over Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces. Go on Twitter Spaces, dude. Connect with people, talk to people, ask your questions. Don't be afraid to go up and speak. No one's gonna judge you, and if they do, then leave the space and don't go back. They're haters. Go talk to people. I love talking to people on Twitter Spaces. It's where you get your answers. That's where you get the general consensus of the community and real-time news. So go to Twitter Spaces, tweet your heart out, content your heart out, do it all, and stay consistent.
Yeah, that's a really, really great answer. A lot of consistency, obviously. I think that's the biggest. Yeah, just keep being active, keep going on it. That's different kind of from my strategy, how I kind of built a following. Like I just made like 8 YouTube videos, and then CryptoFace made a video about me, and then I immediately got like 10,000 subscribers. So, well, it took about 3 weeks, but some luck in there, But yeah.
Thank you. I mean, listen, you're doing really good. I'm currently on the road to 10,000 subs. I'm currently looking at the count. I'm 6 away from 10,000. So we're on the road.
But yeah, somebody said, my apologies, guys. It's not Miss Teen Crypto. It's not Randy's mic. It is my mic. It is. It's tough with a Mac to get the audio routed. Like I tested it out before, it worked perfectly, but sometimes the audio just doesn't route too well. And apologies for the echo a little bit. It is a new apartment I moved into. I have furniture and stuff in here, but this apartment has weird echoes. So
it happens.
yeah,
The same thing kind of happens to me sometimes too. It's all streaming, so. Streaming is not easy, friends. Once you start doing it, you'll know.
There are just so many like weird issues that come up. Like I ordered a green screen that was delivered yesterday, and like they delivered it to the wrong apartment building.
Oh my gosh. I have 2 green screens. I have I'm in like a corner of a room right now, so I have like 2 green screens, like here and here. And yeah, it's a lot, but I like the green screens. It takes like a lot of pressure off, you having to make your room look nice. Like just have a nice green screen and have your desk. It's so much easier. But yeah, use the green screen. Come up with a dope background.
Yeah. So.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you, Randy. If you have any other, I'd say mention where people could find you the most. Any other things that you want to say, and let's head out.
Cool. Thank you for having me, first of all. This was a great time. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate all the positivity from the audience. You guys are really cool as well. If you guys want to find me, MissTeenCrypto.com is probably the best spot. You find all my social media, all my content, everything, my NFTs from there. I'm at MissTeenCrypto on every platform. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, all at Miss Teen Crypto. And if you guys want to keep up with my content daily, I go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern for the Daily Zest on YouTube, where you can get all your daily news. And I also have the Miss Teen Crypto show that's been going on for over a year now. That's 1 to 4 times a week, primarily in the afternoons. And that's where I interview a bunch of really cool people. I've had really great people from the crypto community on the show, people from outside the crypto industry like Fox Business, CNBC. So definitely check out my show as well. It's a really great time. Really hit the emotions and find out where people really came from, their crypto journey, how they got to where they are now. I also have on the street interviews there, educational content. Anything you need to find on me is on youtube.com/MissTeamCrypto. And I'm also a few subs away from 10,000 subs, so anything you guys could do could help. So thank you guys so much again for having me. Thank you, Evan, for having me. And I can't wait till we talk again. You're really great.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. It was a great conversation. I apologize, guys, if the audio wasn't the best. It happens. Next time it will be better. I'm going to study more on how to get this better. Yeah, you can't win them all, but I think everybody was able to hear the main majority of the conversation. It might have been a little echoey, but all right. Have a good one, guys. I'm going to end the stream. Like the video, subscribe, check out everything that Miss Teen Crypto